Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online divorce mediation and valuation services in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we will discuss the current housing market and divorce with Melissa Rubenstein. She is a former real estate attorney and a current realtor in New York and New Jersey, and has a lot of interesting perspectives in real estate, where everything's going. Welcome, Melissa. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you so much for having
Now,
me.
now, what if we have a situation where one spouse might stay in the house, another spouse moves out, which we have, and you can have all sorts of, one's going to keep it, but a lot of times you have one maybe staying in while we're selling, and sometimes that person isn't totally on board with so.
I've definitely had that situation. One of the biggest obstacles in selling a home in divorce is access to the home. So sometimes you have a situation where the court is ordering a sale, they've agreed to a sale, but one spouse is just not thrilled about it. So they may be restricting access, not allowing showings, or not cleaning the house, not keeping the show ready so that maybe they can force the price down. Attorneys will address this, but it's important for both parties to be on board with access, because if you don't have that, the price of the house is going to go down. If it's not show ready and accessible, it's going to be hard to get that top dollar.
And in those types of divorces, a lot of times we're seeing the spouse that stays with the kids are going to stay at the house, and that doesn't really always make it conducive for like quick showings.
Right.
So are you seeing a lot of people like moving out of the house and keeping the house just show ready because the market's moving so quickly, or is that still
There's
just a hard piece of the process?
every situation is out there. I am seeing people when they're not keeping the house, moving out of the house, because it's very difficult to show a house for more than one weekend, 2 weekends, when you have children in the house. At the height of the market, 21, 22, I would have people go away on vacation for a week or even a weekend, show the house, get my offers, and be done with it. That's not today. That was a 2.5 interest rate market. Now at a 6% market, it may take 60 days to sell a house, which is very normal. But with children in the mix, especially in a divorce, my number one goal is to be sensitive to the clients, the family, the children. And maybe we're not putting a sign out front. Maybe we're not, staging the house to that extent, because we have children who are going through their own traumatic experience, and selling the home should not be a trauma on top of that. So there's a lot of sensitivity that goes on when you have people still living in the house, especially children.
Now, in that type of situation, are you going back to them and saying, you know what? If we're going to do certain things, like that's going to affect your price, like, are you kind of giving them like, this is how you get your best price? This is the next price. And then, is
No,
that where the market is, or what do you think?
it's a conversation, and it's a back and forth, and it's what people are comfortable with. I often don't bring in a whole lot of staging materials when there are young children in the house, because I know my children are hard on everything, and I would never want someone else's items in my house. There are a range of staging services, a range of things you can do to your house. Painting is the number one thing that everyone should do. It's the least expensive and the biggest bang for your buck. You may love your red dining room. Most people are not going to love your red dining room. So paint it a neutral grayish color, something that will appeal to everyone. So that's my first thing that I would tell people to do, is always painting. After that, it depends who's living in the house. It depends